This time at the Quick Speed Shop, check it out. Bam! A fancy polished aluminum radiator for the front of my Ford Econoline Boogie van. This is a nice piece. We're going to get it installed today, but I can't stand aluminum. I'm going to paint it black. Watch me do it right now. I'm a professional. Don't try this at home. Alright, welcome back. I'm working on my Ford Boogie van. Check this out. I've got this thing temporarily installed. Let me disassemble it here so I can show you. This, oh, get off of there. This is a big step today, because this is the thing I spent pretty much the most money on for this project so far. This really nice aluminum radiator, all fully welded. It's a Champion radiator, championcooling.com. And I ordered it up for this van. The problem with radiators and like brass radiators, they're hard to find now. This van originally had a copper and brass radiator, and it was pretty corroded and had a little bit of damage in the front of it. And they pretty much don't make them anymore. You can either buy aluminum and plastic radiators, like modern style cars. They make them for this. I'm not a big fan of those. They tend to leak where the plastic and the tanks come together. The gaskets leak and stuff. And usually they're made in China, and I haven't had good luck with those. So I stepped up for this project. I bought this welded up, fully custom fabricated aluminum radiator. It was pretty expensive. Well, relatively terms it's expensive. It was $300 here, but it seems to be a really nice piece. I'm not sure where it's made, but let me pop it out of here right quick and I'll show you up closer. It should be a good piece. I've had good luck with welded aluminum radiators. I've got one in my Studebaker pickup truck. I've had in there for 10 years, and that works good. It cools really well, and I never had any issues with that. So I took the gamble and I bought one for here because it was the best thing to do, honestly. And yeah, let me get it out of here without wrecking it. Come on, man, come on out of there. So check this out. It's got fully welded, TIG welded aluminum upper and lower tanks. It's got the hose connections there. It's got the fittings for the transmission cooler. It's got a drain cock. That's what she said. And yeah, this thing ought to cool great. I think it's a big two-row radiator. Let me set this down. Take a peek. Oh, it's a 3-row. Look at that. So it's got aluminum radiators. They tend to cool pretty nice. The fins are really close together. There's a lot of core, a lot of tubes this way. It's spaced a lot tighter than the brass radiator was. And the original one for the van was a 2-row. This is a 3-row. So this thing ought to cool like gangbusters. And it fits right nice. The brackets are preformed. It bolts right into the stock location. The stock fan shroud should bolt right on here, and I've already eyeballed the hoses. It lines up nice. So all in all, even though it was $300, this is, I mean, I think this is a really nice radiator for $300. The only problem is I hate aluminum radiators in vehicles that didn't have aluminum radiators. So I'm going to take this and paint it flat black on the front because of the, this van didn't have an aluminum radiator in it originally, and nothing ruins the look, in my opinion, of old vehicles, especially like 20 to 36 hot rods that people put aluminum radiators in them and don't paint them black. So you take a car that never had aluminum radiator and look through the grill and there's an aluminum radiator in it. I hate that look. The paint doesn't affect the cooling at all. Take the extra couple of seconds to paint it black. So I know you bought an aluminum radiator and you want to see it, but guess what? It looks terrible in there. I'm going to paint this one black, just the front of it. These brackets are going to be black. The fins are going to be black. And probably the front of the tank, and then it won't look like I have an aluminum radiator. And I'll leave the back aluminum because that won't matter, and I'll leave the polished tank in there, but don't put an aluminum radiator behind your grill where it sticks out like a sore thumb. So that's my tip for you. Quick Speed Shop tip for the day. Okay, I've taped off the radiator. I'm keeping the top of the tank shiny. I've masked it off here. Now this ain't going to take much paint because I just got to black it out a little bit, but sacrilege! Don't paint the aluminum! Look at this. Paint it. Paint it black. Hit the track. Here we go. That's what I'm talking about. No more aluminum radiator look. Paint it black, hit the track. This will look a million times better behind the grill. All black. All black. There we go. The smelling success. Some Rust-Oleum flat black rattle can paint. It didn't even blow all the way through the core. Everything looks mint. When this dries, it'll be, might be a few little shiny spots I gotta hit there, but when that dries, it'll look 1,000 times better than having the aluminum there. It's black how it's supposed to be. Looks good, looks still mint. Let's dry, and I got some new radiator hoses to put on here. I got a new lower hose right down here. Will it go right on there, no problem. Then a new upper hose, which I believe goes like this. Ish, like that. New upper hoses. I already put a new serpentine belt on here when I put the front of the engine back together. Power steering pump is hooked up. Everything's hooked up. I do need to fix the transmission lines down here. The ends are rusted off. I'm going to cut them off. It's 5/16 line. I'm going to make new lines up here to go into the bottom of the radiator with nickel copper alloy line. And I'll put the radiator in first. I got a little piece of hose that's going to join them together, hose, and then hard line them over to the radiator over here. I'll clean this up a little bit. It's a little grungy, but this fan shroud should bolt right here to the radiator like that. And we'll have fan shroud action there and get the maximum cooling capacity out of this whole setup. I'll clean this up with some silicone spray or something, shine up this plastic. Okay, I think I'm ready to put the radiator in. I went and cleaned up the fan shroud. I wiped it down with some silicone blaster there, got some of the dirt off, put a little bit of silicone on the plastic to make it shinier. Got my upper radiator hoses installed. I got some new clamps in here. I cut the tranny cooler lines off. I got some hoses stuck on there, some 5/16 hose. And I'm going to have to fab up the lines once the radiator's in place. So I think I want to put the shroud on over the fan here, out of the way. And then we're going to take the radiator. I'm going to see if I can slip her on down in here without scratching the brand new paint. Yep, her hose is fighting me. Go. Okay. The lower two bolts for the mount are slotted, so you can set down on them bolts like that. Perfect. Okay. And I'm using some stainless steel 3/8 bolts and washers I had just laying around. Might as well put it in fancy with some stainless. It'll help not corrode the aluminum with dissimilar metal corrosion like you get with regular steel fasteners. Look at that. Okay, so that looks good here. This is what I've been using to clean it up, just a little bit of silicone lubricant. And I'm going to spray just a little bit on the, actually on my fingers here. Oh, that's plenty. And I'm just going to rub it on the upper and lower. I can't reach one, but it helps the hoses slide on easier. A little bit of silicone on there. Whoop, right on there, perfect. Fan shroud should come right up here into place. Man, that's perfect. This thing fits nice. Sometimes you're worried about aftermarket stuff. This seems to fit really good. Everything looks good. I'm going to use some stainless steel 1/4-20 bolts to hold the fan shroud on. Just happen to have the grill right here. Let's take a look. Ta-da! So you can see, you know, you would see a lot of the grill behind there and be really obvious that it had aluminum grill. And that's not right for a 70s van. So now we look like we're stock. We're ready to rumble. Perfect. Okay, to fix my tranny lines, I'm going to use this copper nickel alloy tubing. You use this to make brake lines, and you can make fuel lines. It's a CUNIFE, and it bends really easy, and it doesn't corrode. And we're going to bend it up right now as soon as I get the the bender put together here. We got some brand new 5/16 nuts to go on the piece, and I've just rolled some out a little bit here. I'm going to flare it. I've done a review on this tool, so if you're interested on an actual review, you can go on the channel and check that out. But put the fitting on. Oops. Kind of like working on a junk heap here. Alright, so I'm going to put the fitting on there. I'm going to pull that back to there, tighten this down. Where's my spray oil? I seem to have lost that. I'm going to put a little flare action on this. I like to put a little bit of oil on it just to help it go. Operation 0 is complete. What are we doing here? 5/16 operation 1. Where is that? 5/16 operation 1. Right there. Kirk. And we'll go to 5/16 operation 2. Like that. Bam. Now, this should be a nice little flare there. Nice. Perfect. Now I'm gonna, this will screw into the radiator here, this end. And then, does that look alright? Yeah, it's alright. And then it's gonna use the hose to connect it here. So I've got to make 2 of these. They got to have a 90-degree bend on them. Let me get my bender. Got my bender somewhere. Where it's hiding somewhere in the rubble. Crap. Okay, I found it. So now I'm gonna put a little bit of a 90-degree bend on it here just to get us going. Get where it's supposed to be. Come on, get there. There we go. Just gonna 90 her over. Like that. Perfect. I'm just gonna cut this long. I'm gonna eyeball it underneath the van. I'm just gonna cut it long so I can make the other one, and then I'll cut them to length once I get what I need to do. But this will screw it into the radiator and then make the connection to the hose. Okay, I ran into a problem here. I went to test fit the line into the radiator, which the bends line up all right, but this is 5/16 brake line and brake line fitting. The bungs that are in the radiator are for 1/4-inch pipe thread, and I need one of these adapters that's 1/4-inch pipe thread on one side, and it's got to have a inverted flare fitting on the other side. Unfortunately, I don't have any in stock. Usually I have a whole bunch of fittings, and I went and I dug and looked. This one's for 3/8 pipe thread, or 3/8, not pipe thread, 3/8 line, but I need one for 5/16 line. So I'm dead in the water right now. I got to go to the auto parts store tomorrow and get 2 of these that are 1/4-inch pipe thread on one side and 5/16 line on the other side. So I can thread these into the radiator. They will seal on the outside of the threads with some thread sealer. Kirk put them in there, and then I can put the 5/16 line in here and on the radiator, and then the rubber hose will make up this connection. And I also took the flare tool and I just pushed it just a little bit. I put just a little bit of nub on there just to get a little bit of flare action. Just had the hose slide over just to give it a little bit of resistance, not to blow off or pull off. So I'm dead in the water. It's nighttime now. The auto parts store is closed, so I'm just going to make, this line is for the far side of the radiator. I'm just going to make up the short side one here that's pretty much a straight line, and I'll get these ready to go for tomorrow. Well, since I'm dead in the water on the lines, you might as well put this back on. Just like that. Kirk. It's kind of grody and nasty looking. I think it's galvanized, which is kind of crappy. And so these bolts, aha, there we go. A little anti-seize. I pre-restored the bolts because they were pretty rusty and only stick out like a sore thumb, but once I rattle can this all black, it'll be fine. See here. Alright, so I went and I sanded down the top of the core support the best I could. A lot of the paint actually came off it, and I've just rattle canned it with flat black. It looks a million times better than it did. I taped off the sticker. I was able to use some lacquer thinner and get the grunge off of that so you can read the sticker. And it tells about the fuel pump shutoff switch. What I want to do later is I'm going to louver the hood. What that means is I've got a machine that hydraulically punches holes in the sheet metal, and it makes like school lockers, you know, with the louvers in the front for vents. So you do that to the hood, and it's a popular trick they do for, well, they still do it for hot rods and stuff. And my uncle used to do, he had a machine built back in the 80s, and he used to do a lot of these vans when they were ambulances. They would louver the hood. It's an old school trick. I'm going to louver the hood later. Not right now. I'm going to just get the hood back on for now, so I can move this thing around and get it on the road. But the hood will come back off at some point, and it'll get louvered here. But I think the first step is to put the vent wiper cowl trim back on, which I happen to have up here on the roof. Ta-da! Oh! Like this, which is very dusty and grungy, but this goes right down in here. Like so. Bam, like that. And then there's a bunch of sheet metal screws that attach this. I had to, when you remove the fenders on these Ford Econoline vans, there's a bolt under this, so you need to remove the cowl vent off there. So I can screw this down. There's a bunch of Phillips head sheet metal screws, and then I will be able to put the hood back on. I'm just going to get my gaps lined up here. Gaposis. Always want to have it gapped out right. Okay, I'm going to put the hood back on. I've taken some cloths and I've laid them here, or a cloth and a floor mat, just so I can set the edge of the hood on the cowl, not scratch it all up, because I got to hold it up and to get the hood hinges onto it here. This hood is, you know, super small because it's a van. Usually a big car hood you want to handle this because it's easy to stick it right through the windshield, and that would ruin your day. Don't want to have that happen, but I can easily handle this hood by myself because it's tiny. Get it over here. Now, if I've got to look, how did this work? Okay, the hinges slip inside the hood. So let me think about how am I going to do this. These will stay up. Nope. But I bet I can. There we go. Prop it, persuade it like that. Perfect. Yeah. Hatsa. Okay. Just gonna set that there for 1 second. Stay. Set that there for 1 second. My prop stick. Perfect. Alright. Now, I can see on the hood where the paint was originally for these, so I'm going to put the bolts back into the original location. Hopefully it'll be lined up pretty good where it was originally. Okay, the hood's a little bit snug. I can pull my sheets out of here. Now, slowly, you don't ever want to drop the hood the first shot. You want to slowly bring it down, just take a look at it, see how it's looking. there you can see my gap is a little bit wider on this side than it is on the passenger side. How's my latch looking? Brought it down a little bit more. Yep. You can already see looks like I either have this fender out just a little bit. I'm going to look at the cowl. The hood's there. Actually, the hood's hanging over. So I got to loosen the bolts up. I'm just going to shift the hood this way just about an 1/8 inch, or not even an 1/8 inch, like a 1/16. And that should line up better. But I was talking about those louvers is these are punched to the louver machine. I just fired the machine up a while ago when I moved it and just checked it out. These are just randomly thrown in this panel. But I will take the hood off and I will louver this panel here, and it will have louvers in it. Kind of a hot rod trick. I'll probably, you center them off the center stripe here, I'll probably put, you know, like 6 or 7 louvers. Probably almost, yeah, 6, 7, 8, whatever fits in here. You gotta, you know, there's inner structure in here, you gotta work around there, remove some of it actually. But I'll put some louvers here, probably like 3 rows, maybe 4 rows in the hood, and louver this little section just for like a little 70s, early 80s hot rod flare. And that'll be pretty cool. So I'm going to do that at a later date. You can see the paint's burned off. I need to sand all the paint off the hood, get it to bare metal before I can louver it. And I got some graphics ideas I'm going to do to take up a lot of this spot where the paint's burned off the hood. Well, that turned out pretty good. I got the hood adjusted. I just got the grill thrown in here to get an eyeball look at it. The top of the grill's a little bent. It's a little wonky. I'm going to try to fix that. And as you can see here, I'm sitting in the seat. I'm going to be working on getting the seats mounted up on the swivel buckets. These came out of a 76 van. I got them off Craigslist. I got them for free actually. I've got 4 swivel buckets, and I got the bed that goes in the back. Like, all the seats are mint. This is a driver's seat. It's got a little bit of tear action on it that I got to figure out how to fix this, or just put a piece of vinyl on it for now. Got to clean them up. They're green and they're a little grungy, but they should clean up. But they're pretty comfortable, and they're going to swivel, so I'm going to be working on that next time. So come back if you want to see the Boogie Van action. I'm putting out videos Wednesdays and Saturdays. Appreciate you watching, and let's make 2022 a year where we put cool stuff like this back on the road. So until then, I'll see you right here at the Quick Speed Shop.